This is David Ozrati. Yesterday I filed a lawsuit to try to stop the secret meetings of the school closure task force in Dayton, where a group of people who weren't elected to the school board were going to go and do the school board's work for you. Most of them don't live in the city. So when I got to the courts, it got assigned to Judge Skelton, and I had filed for an injunction, but I didn't have something for him to react immediately. I needed a temporary restraining order, so I filed that first thing this morning. He tried to get the lawyers for both the district and the city on the line, and the district was saying, oh, it's not us, it's this people, we hired these people. And in the meantime, the tour was starting, so I rushed out to Valerie Elementary with my cameras. They wouldn't let me in the building. I was actually there before the task force arrived on a school bus. They let them all in, and reporters for Channel 7 and Jeremy Kelly from the Dayton Daily News. Now, you're not allowed to pick and choose which reporters you allow on the bus. They kept saying, well, you can't bring cameras or audio recording equipment because of the privacy of the children. I said, I'll put them away. They still wouldn't let me in. And then I followed them to the bus to Meadowdale PK8, and then they drove around to Meadowdale High School, then they drove over to Wagaman. Now, one of the things was Commissioner Mims tried to stay outside the building at all times. And apparently, according to the Dayton Daily News, he was advised not to continue. It was a violation of the Sunshine Laws, just as I said. However, school board members William Harris and Robert Walker went through. And I've heard that Mohammed Al-Hamdani might have been on the bus but decided not to enter when he saw me show up. We'll be finding out the details on that later. So I Facebook Lived, I shot video. I'm putting this all together in one long stream of consciousness. It's all evidence for the courts. But basically, the Sunshine Laws are what protect you from having your legislators operate in private to make decisions affecting you. And I think the closing of schools in Dayton, whether it be 1, 2, 3, or however many they want to choose, is something that should be discussed in public. There's no private interest, no private reason for this to happen. This is something we can all talk about in public. The makeup of this board is really, this task force is really odd, that they're including people who work for their competitors, people who actually actively recruit students to go to schools that outside of Dayton Public. Why this is going on, no one knows. This was never voted on in a public meeting by the school board. And in fact, the paper broke yesterday that Al-Hamdani was actually negotiating this task force before he even took office. This is all very dangerous to all the principles of democracy. The school board members should be removed. The attorneys should be removed. The superintendent and her assistant superintendent and the treasurer who were on this, going about this, should be removed. If we're talking about privacy of Dayton Public School students with a camera or audio recording device, they never seem to have a problem when I go to a basketball game or to a recital or a speech contest, do they? So that argument also falls through it. But again, I offered to put those things away and they still would not let me enter. So read up on your Ohio Sunshine Laws, watch this video. Wish me luck tomorrow at 10 a.m. when I go to Judge Skelton's courtroom to make an argument pro se against two lawyers, one for the school board, one for the city of Dayton, on why this was an illegal meeting. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I need to get to 1,000 subscribers in order to monetize this channel to help support the time and expense it takes to do all this. I have the number of hours. I've uncovered very important things in the past through these videos. I need your help. Thank you, Dayton. I'm doing everything I can to make sure we have open, honest government. Well, both the city and the school board attorneys are all playing hide the potato and we don't know anything and trying to tell the judge what the status is, which they can't do any place but in a courtroom. And so he's asking them to come into court. In the meantime, they're probably starting the tours at Valerie Elementary. So that is if they haven't changed their agenda, which could have happened because they haven't notified anybody of what they're planning on doing. So I've got a video recorder and an audio recorder in my van. And I'm going to beat feet all the way up to Valerie and start recording when I get there and see if they turn me away while they're screwing around with making excuses and pretending they don't know what's going on. This is a clear violation of the sunshine laws, which require prior agendas, prior notification, publishing those, and public being able to be there. This does not fall under about the 4 or 5 things that qualify for executive session, which they can do in private. So you have basically a bunch of city officials, a bunch of school officials, and a whole bunch of people that you didn't elect making decisions about what schools are going to be closed without anybody watching or checking on them. Some of those people work for the competition, but more on that later. I'm here at Valerie Elementary School on Tuesday at about 9:35 to record and monitor the secret task force tour of the building, and we'll see what happens. I'm here at Valerie Elementary School while they're having their secret meeting tour. I've got a video camera with me. Nobody is answering the door. They've let people in that are on this tour, and no response. So we're going to wait here and see what happens. I'm going to turn the camera around. You can see there are people in the central office that are not answering the door. So now we have students coming in. Come on in, young lady. And we have a guard coming.
Someone will be right with you. They're pulling up right now.
All right, okay. Thank you very much.
No problem.
So apparently someone will be right with me. They're pulling up. Here's Channel 7 showing up. See them coming out? And I don't know who else is coming, but it's my friend Chuck Hamlin from Channel 7. And we'll see who else is going to show up. There is Channel 45 showing up. So I've got my restraining order in my pocket. The judge tried to get a hold of the lawyers, and yet we got nothing. Oh, here comes. Oh, there's Sheila Burton, and she's going in a side door. How about that? The associate superintendent sneaking in, not coming in the front door. She's late, by the way. Meeting came at 9:30. So I will keep this running here as they come. And like I said, Channel 7, Channel 22, and 45 are here. We got people in the central office there. We got security people. And here comes Mr. Wright. Hey, Rich.
Hey, sir, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Doing well.
Oh, and here comes Hewitt Abraha. Here comes the rest. Here comes Dr. Lassie. All of them are getting to go into their secret illegal meeting.
How are you? Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Dr. David Roman and Tim Cambridge. Here we go. Here's the whole crowd. They're all going in to have a secret tour, and no, they're not letting me in the building. Each one of these people going into this meeting, I'm going to ask for $500. There goes the school board president. Here comes the former school board president, Richard Stott. Here comes the superintendent. All these people coming in. Jeremy Kelly. Is Jeremy Kelly going to be allowed to tag along? If he is, I am.
Oh, one moment, sir.
Hold on. No, you can't let Jeremy Kelly in and not let me in.
No cameras are allowed in the building.
Okay, I have audio recording devices.
No cameras or audio devices are allowed in the building.
No, audio. This
Please.
is a public meeting. It has to be able to be
No
recorded
cameras are
and
allowed in the
observed.
building. please.
That's not true, Richard.
No
It's a
cameras
public
are allowed.
meeting.
No cameras are allowed in
I have
the
an
building.
audio recording device. You cannot hold a meeting in secret.
Okay, no cameras are allowed in the building.
Every one of them has a camera. They have cell phones. There's a temporary restraining order right now being asked
Thank you.
to have your lawyers in court. No, you can't do this. You're gonna let Jeremy Kelly go through? Yeah, and there's Dr. Lawley. These people don't understand the law. It's an open meeting. It's a public meeting. You cannot meet in secret. Cannot do it. Every single person walked through that door, it's a $500 violation. Every single one. How can you let Jeremy Kelly go through? Here's Jeff Mims out there. Jeff Mims is a city commissioner. He should know better. John Gower, former city manager, should know better. It's time that the people of Dayton get to see what goes on in this secret cable that's going to decide on the future of our school buildings, some of which we haven't even paid for yet. So, I can go put my camera outside, but I have to be able to audio record. It has to have a record. The fact that there were no public minutes posted of the last meeting, there was no agenda posted, there was no public notification of this other than at the last meeting, all in violation of the sunshine laws. So if I put this camera away, can I come through with an audio recording? There's no question of privacy with an audio recorder. Mr. Wright, need a legal decision here. I put my camera away and I bring audio recording device. Is that all right? Does that satisfy the requirements?
The information I received is there will be no cameras, no audio recording.
So I can go through and monitor just by standing around. I can just
I
listen.
think they were allowed to bring in notepads. I can get that question
so
answered.
Can you get that question answered?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Apparently, Mims and Gower are deciding not to enter. So there must be something going on. We have 2245 here and channel 7. I don't know where they went to. Again, Jeremy Kelly from the Dayton Daily News got to go into the building here. You've seen I've been turned away. And I don't know how else we can do this. You have to just trust me if I go through and try to report back. I'm allowed to take a notepad. I'm sorry, is that the way they work city commission meetings too now? And school board meetings, you can only come in with a notepad? I imagine every single one of those people has a camera with them. It's called a cell phone. So, you got a violation of the sunshine law. You've got people standing out here having some kind of conference. Maybe I should come out and tape this too. There's Chuck Hamlin out there from Colorado. Is there a reason, Commissioner, that you're not going into this meeting? Is there a reason? Are you not going in because you realize it's a violation of the sunshine laws? Commissioner Mims?
Good morning, Dave. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How
That's
are you?
good, man. Good to see you.
Sorry about the
Good to
Dunbar
see you.
loss.
How's your mom?
My mom's all right.
Okay, it's good. Glad to hear that.
Okay, are you not going in because you realize it's a violation of the sunshine laws?
I was in another conversation, Dave.
Oh,
I appreciate it if you would go and talk to someone else.
Well, I'm trying to get into this meeting. You're the co-chair, and I've got a restraining order filed with the courts. Judge Skelton's trying to get your lawyers in place, and they're saying that I can't go in with cameras or audio recording equipment. I don't know how audio recording equipment would violate the privacy of any students.
You take it up with the attorneys.
Well, the judge is trying to get the attorneys into the courtroom.
Well, why don't you go talk to the attorneys, then come back and tell me what they said.
Well, because I've notified all the attorneys yesterday, and they should know
Well, I'm
better,
talking
and you
about
should
what's
know
happening.
better.
I'm just talking about this now. You can talk to the attorneys, then come back and talk to me.
Okay, well, the reality is you know the open meetings laws. And you've got to understand that you can't have meetings in private. Okay, I'm going to go put my camera away, and then I will come in. Oh, they've got a school bus, too. I bet they won't let me on that. They got a school bus to transport around the people. I will put this stuff away, and then I will go in, and I'm not allowed to audio record, but I will go in and try to monitor to make sure they're not talking about things they shouldn't be talking about. But this is just one more instance of your government thinking they can operate in secret. And we still got Mr. Mims outside there and Mr. Gower waiting. And now it looks like somebody from the city's pulling up. I don't know if this is the city attorney or what, but here, I'll keep recording. and see what's happening. I bet they're coming to give advice. So, let's see who steps up. Are you with the city attorney's office?
No, sir.
No? Okay. Thank you. So here we go. I'm gonna put this stuff away. We'll see what happens. How you doing, Chuck?
I'm doing well. How's your day going?
Oh, I got denied permission to come in with either audio or video recording equipment. Has that happened with any other school or public meetings you've ever heard of?
Public meetings?
Public meetings?
You know, that
I mean,
gets,
courts.
Courts, yeah.
That's the only place I know.
Schools are, you know, they do have jurisdiction over who goes into a school. But, you know, if this is
Okay,
considered
so-
a public meeting, I'm not an attorney.
No, but I mean, you've been in this business for a long time. Have you ever been denied rights of going in and monitoring a public meeting?
I have, actually.
You have?
Yes.
Can you tell us when?
Yeah, it was October 29th, 2015. Cox Broad. I've got to take a phone call.
Okay. I'm going to go in and put this stuff up. Thank you. I have gotten rid of my camera and my audio recording device. I've come back in. I still have my cell phone, which the courts need to reach me if they get set a court date up. But every one of those people has a cell phone with them. And I'm waiting for Richard Wright to come tell me what Miss Bradshaw, the attorney for the district, says about whether I can come in and monitor it like Jeremy Kelly from Cox Enterprises. Now, sorry, you don't get to pick and choose who gets to cover you and your news. That's just not legal. But that's what they're playing right now. And it's not correct and it's wrong. And right now they're discussing the future of school buildings in Dayton, public property, in the public trust, in private. And that is not the way things work. So Channel 7's here, Channel 2245 is here outside. And, you know, they followed me up here. All the people from the district came on a big bus. And now they're just delaying. Again, this is not the way it works. I have filed the restraining order in the court. The court tried to get a hold of the attorneys. The attorneys were hiding one, call this attorney, call that attorney. And instead of dealing with the issue, I do notice that Mr. Gower, who's with the city and was with the city for a long time, is walking around on his cell phone. And Commissioner Mims didn't seem to be joining the crew, but I don't know, now he might be with them. But they should both know better. They know the open meetings laws. They know the requirements. Maybe they're on the phone to the city attorney. The rest of these people, none of them were elected by us. Well, except for Mohammed Al-Hamdani, Robert Walker, and Mr. Harris, who have no business whatsoever. They haven't been appointed to this task force by in a legal meeting, and yet here they are, working independently. It's as if the Secretary of State went off and did their own thing without being told anything by the president. But nah, that would never happen, would it? Not in this country. Not today. Anyway, we're standing here. We're getting jerked around while they're having an illegal secret meeting. They've been in there probably for 10 minutes. Jeremy Kelly from the Dayton Daily News is allowed to walk through. No other public meetings, other than courtrooms, do they stop you from coming in with a camera or an audio recording device. You can take a camera and audio recording into city commission chambers and school board meetings, into public buildings where there's a sporting event going on even. Have you ever been told you can't take video at a basketball game? There's kids there. Is there a privacy issue there? No. The privacy issue that they're using is an excuse. It's trying to limit the free and open reporting of what is basically the decision to give away our school buildings to charter schools. Now, I got to tell you, Tom Lastly, he gets your tax dollars from Issue 9, and he gets to contribute them to private businesses, charter schools. Here comes Mr. Wright. We'll find out what the status is. I will sign off. Mr. Wright?
Yes, sir.
What's the status from the attorney?
Reach out to, that's what I was going to say, reach out to Jillian. Jillian will give you the answer that she gave the superintendent. I didn't have a conversation.
Okay, so I got to call Jillian. She's going to call. All right, I will. No, you're all going to go and on your secret meeting here. You're violating the sunshine laws, state of Ohio, all of you. Violating the sunshine laws. On record, every single one of you. This is a violation of the sunshine laws that you're continuing on. I put away the camera, I put away the audio recording equipment. I still was not allowed in the building. Your lawyer said that if you're violating the sunshine laws.
I don't want to do that.
You know, you don't. But all of you are participating. I was denied access to this tour. They're allowing some of the other news people on there, but they're not allowing me to come along. And they said because I filed a lawsuit, I'll see Judge Skelton in court tomorrow, and Jillian can't talk to me, but they are denying me access to these meetings. Now, they're going to continue on to another school building. What school building are you going to next, please, Mr. Romick? What school building are you going to next?
This is as far as you can go.
This is as far as I can go. They're not going to tell me what school building you're going to next. I got to tail you? I see how you are. Jeremy Kelly, what school building are they going to next? Jeremy Kelly, what school building are they going to next? What building are they going to next? They're not going to any more buildings? This is it? They're heading home? I filed a lawsuit. We got court date tomorrow at 11. Every last one of them violating the law. Going in secret. There's Commissioner Mims. He was in there too. He should know better. He's been on the school board, the state school board, and the city commission. All those times he should have paid attention to those open meetings, sunshine laws. This is David Ezrati. Jeremy Kelly says he doesn't think they're going to any more meetings. I don't know if that's any more buildings. I don't know if that's true. They won't tell me which one's next. Is that true, Chuck? Are they done? You're going to follow the bus?
What's your phone number?
So now I got to play secret agent man and follow the bus. So I'm going to sign off right here and we will get back to you. Thank you. We're here at Meadowdale PK8. The bus has arrived. There's Marcia Bonhart looking very good. We've got a security guard. They have not gotten off the bus. And the word is they are not going to come in and tour the building. Commissioner Jeff Mims got out. Here comes Richard Wright. I have in my hand a Zoom audio recording device. I don't know how this can violate the privacy of students in the buildings. You know, I was recording audio. You got Commissioner Mims standing out here behind me outside the bus talking on his cell phone. But the reality is these people, other than Harris, Muhammad Al-Hamdani, and Commissioner Mims and Reverend Walker, all the rest of these people were not elected to do this. They were not elected to make decisions about closing this beautiful brand new building that we're not done paying taxes on. And I'm sorry, they allowed Jeremy Kelly on the bus, and they're obviously talking amongst each other. I'm sure they're not sitting there with cones of silence on their head. So what they're doing in that bus right now is an illegal, secret, private meeting of a committee formed to decide about your task force. And Superintendent Lawley's right there in the front. Bus is starting up. Who knows where they're going to go? I'm going to have to tail them again, playing secret agent man. And like I said, they're not sitting there not talking. That is an illegal secret meeting going on right in front of you. Right there. That's what the sunshine laws are there to protect from happening, and they're doing it. So I talked to Jillian Bradshaw, and she said she can't talk to me because we got a court hearing in front of Judge Skelton tomorrow at 11, where I have to prove that there is irreparable harm and that I have to make an argument on why he should stop them from doing what they are already doing, which is violating the Ohio Sunshine Laws, the laws that protect you to make sure government does not happen in secret. And as I said, those people in the bus right now are talking amongst themselves, holding an illegal secret meeting, and not allowing me in there. Now, Jeremy Kelly from the Cox organization is in there. There's a reporter from Channel 7. Right now, I'm on camera with Chuck Hamlin, Channel 7, and he probably wants me to answer some questions. Yes? No?
Ready?
Nope. Yep.
So tell me about the court hearing?
So the court hearing will be tomorrow at 11 is what I've been told by Jillian Bradshaw. I have not yet heard from Judge Skelton's office. Yesterday I filed a 12-page brief with supporting documents asking that they prevent this from happening today. Unfortunately, I'm not a lawyer. I'm representing myself. I'm doing this what's called pro se. And so the judge told me I needed a temporary restraining order. Now, these are not common in these kinds of cases, but I went and researched it. I found some examples. I filed one this morning. The judge tried to call the attorneys for both sides, Barb Dosek for the city, Jillian Bradshaw for the schools. She's assigned it to some private law firm, and so we're waiting to hear back. He couldn't get them on the phone to have a hearing today, so we'll go in tomorrow, and I have to prove that there is irreparable harm, which I believe is what's going on. We're violating the sunshine laws by having these people meet in private and have a discussion. That's not the way government works. That's why we have the sunshine laws, to protect all of us.
All right, David, let's get your name. Everybody knows you anyway.
My name is David, E-S-R-A-T-I.
Okay.
Ezrati.
Do you call you an activist or a concerned citizen? What do you want to be called?
Just David Ezrati.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
a concern. I am.
Okay.
I mean, I'm. You could say I'm a member of the media for all you want. I mean, I write a blog. People read it. But the reality is, this is an illegal secret meeting. This is being done by people you've elected, people who should not be in office if they believe this is okay. The brief it's online, so you can get the actual brief, the long brief. I don't have the long brief. I just have the restraining order.
Let me see that.
You need that for quick B-roll. I understand.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
So, again,
yeah, my reporter's saying that they're just doing drive-bys now.
oh yeah, because these are new
Are you
buildings.
going to the next one too?
Next one will be Wagaman. I might have lost that last live video because my battery died out there. It's incredibly cold outside right now. Right now, I'm tailing the bus on the way to Wagaman. They just did a quick drive-by Meadowdale High School as well as Meadowdale PK8. And the PK8, they sat in the bus and had an illegal secret meeting, because I'm sure they're not sitting there all in absolute silence. Commissioner Mims stepped outside and was on the phone, so I don't know what that means. He's probably talking to attorneys, getting advice. Jillian Bradshaw was the person I was told to call to gain access to Valerie, and she said she can't talk to me and would not grant access. Now, here's the question that we have to ask about access. Access with or without a recording device, they granted it to other journalists. Now, you could say I'm not just a citizen activist, I'm a journalist. I publish on a regular basis and have since 2005. So we now have another case there to discuss on top of all this. But on what we've got here, besides picking the media that they want to have cover it, this idea that you can't take cameras or recording devices into the schools. So number one, you could have had this tour outside of school hours quite easily. There's no reason. They said they were going to give me a separate tour time, which, doesn't do anything. The question is the meeting. The question is the discussions and the questions that are being asked and talked about, and that we don't have any privy to. So now, the second part of this is, besides the fact that they're, sitting there and they're talking amongst each other without anybody knowing what's going on and making these decisions, the open meetings laws clearly, the audio recording, let's talk about that. How can audio recording violate privacy? Do you think somebody has speech analysis of each student and we could possibly tell what students are saying? No. Audio recording is different. Even in the Supreme Court, they will allow audio recording while they will not allow video recording. So denying audio recording is ridiculous. Then on top of it, let's be real. Do they take cameras away from people when they go to sport events at Dayton Public Schools? Do they take it away when you go to recitals? No, the privacy of children is not an issue that trumps having secret meetings discussing the future of school buildings, that some of which we're still paying for. I find the behavior of all of these people that are on this bus absolute violations of the public trust. They all know better. There isn't a single one of these people that isn't seasoned, lots of experience with government, who have been around the open meeting laws for a long time. They all know what they are doing is wrong, and yet they proceed to do it because, number one, none of them have any liability in this, because other than Walker, Harris, Muhammad Al-Hamdani. And by the way, I haven't really noticed Muhammad yet. He may have snuck in or something else, but I haven't seen him. I have seen Harris and Walker. Of course, I've also seen Libby Lawley, Sheila Burton. I've seen Treasurer Hewitt Abrahas. So you have basically the two members of the school board, possibly three, plus the two people they hire that have to attend all meetings, the treasurer and the superintendent. Now that doesn't seem like a quorum, but that sure seems like official school business that should be conducted in public. This is just, we're now driving down Gettysburg, by the way, on our way to Wagaman, which is off of Germantown. And I don't know if they're going to get out of the building, out and tour the building there. Again, that's a brand new building. And, excuse me, besides being a brand new, this is the building that they screwed up so bad with the roof that they had to come and re-roof it less than a couple years after it was built. So the district has extra money. Now, there was a lawsuit against the roofing company and everything else, but this is a prime school. It's really, I think it's one of the nicer buildings the district built. I like the place it's situated at. I think the basketball court at it sucks, but you know, who are they going to turn this over to? Is this going to be turned over to Tom Lastly and his Learn to Earn? He's on the bus. It's going to be turned over to Mound Street Academies. One of their board members, Ron Budzik, is on the bus. Budzik also serves on the committee for Learn to Earn. He serves on Sinclair's Board of Trustees. Do you see the problems we have here? The conflicts of interest? The people we elected to make these decisions, and we just recently elected 4 new people to the school board. The people who are supposed to make this decision are taking a pass and not doing their job. They're handing this off to other people. That is not their job. This is an abdication by the school board of their duties and responsibilities that they swore an oath to uphold in making these decisions. Now, by going in here and letting these other people make the decisions or even give them advice in private, that's a violation of law. This has to stop. This is me all by myself. I don't have anybody backing me. I'm taking time off of work. I am paid the filing fee myself. That was $330.50. And, you know, the sunshine laws don't have a whole lot of teeth in them. You're given $500 if you win. $500 plus attorney fees, because attorneys always have to get paid. Will I get attorney's fees despite the literally probably 40 hours I've spent preparing this thing, and now we've got another 4 or 5 today following them around in their illegal secret meeting. And you know, in the bus, they're not sitting there and doing nothing. They're talking right now about school improvement like they just were in the last meeting that I filmed. This is this is just wrong. The school board should be put on notice that they have failed. Remember, they didn't. Al-Hamdani it was in the paper yesterday that before he was even put on the board, before he was sworn in, he was out getting people for this task force. That's sort of like when Trump was going to meet with the Russians before he was elected. You're not allowed to do foreign policy when you're not in office. So Al-Hamdani was calling these people, getting this task force together with Mayor Nan Whaley. And as far as I know, there was never a vote of the city commission to assign MIMS to this task force. There was never a vote I know for a fact, there was never a vote of the school board to assign Walker, Harris, and Al-Hamdani to this committee. And to say Al-Hamdani is going to be the chairperson. Where did this come from? They just self-anointed themselves to be in charge of this. So there you have basically a school board allowing other people to have a secondary school board. And who's on the secondary school board? The people who get tax dollars to fund charter schools and private preschools. That's who's on that board. Tom Lastly, Ron Budzik. There's probably other things that are unconnected, screwed up and connected. One of the things that's funny is they have Deb Feldman, the former county administrator, on this task force. Deb Feldman, who runs Children's Hospital. Last time I read about Deb Feldman in the news, she was sitting there. They had a child molester working for them as a doctor in the hospital, and they failed to report it to the police. This is one of the problems I have with private police departments, but that's a whole nother matter. But they are letting someone who has their own problem with taking care of children sit and make decisions about taking care of Dayton's children. And these people don't live in the district. One of the things about school boards, and they get special leeway from the state of Ohio, is they talk about local control. Local control means that you are a resident of Dayton Public School District. Now, Dayton Public School District does not mean you have to live in the city of Dayton, because as we just saw, there are schools in Harrison Township. The Valerie and Meadowdale's 2 buildings in Meadowdale are in Harrison Township. So the people that work in those buildings don't pay Dayton city taxes. So who does Dan Whaley want them to close? Oh, close those schools so she can get them all the people back into the city of Dayton so that she gets more income tax revenue, because it's all about that. So anyways, these people, they live in Centerville, they live outside of the district, so they're not eligible to be school board members yet. We just basically gave them, the school board members, jobs by putting them on this task force. That is wrong. That is totally wrong. So, you know, we had the same problem with Adil Bagirov last year. I identified that he was on the school board, did not live in Dayton Public in the district. I said he lived outside in the Vandalia Butler district. I proved all the shell companies. I showed it all. You got to watch that video. It's at Israeli.com. Man of mystery. The guy it's an unbelievable story. So I tell the district, do they investigate Bagirov's residency? No. I called everybody. I called the Board of Elections. I called the sheriff. I called the police department. I called the Attorney General's office. I called the Secretary of State's office. I called the Ohio Elections Commission. I called the Ohio Ethics Commission. Nobody would investigate. So he stayed in office and did the big bus deal that got us all these new buses. That the treasurer was terrified of the financing deal. We bought 10-year warranties on buses that are supposed to have a 7-year life expectancy. Anyway, so Bagirov sits on this district board until on election day I go to check, because he was already talking about running for election as a state rep. And I go check his voter registration, and it had magically changed to the address I said he lived at. So I printed it out, I posted it, and I asked the school board to do something about it. I said, Bagirov doesn't live in the district. He's ineligible to be on the school board. What are you going to do about it? Election day came and went. Next day came and went. Nothing. I called the school district attorney. I said, what are you going to do? She's like, nothing. So I write a blog post, tell the story of what I did, said, I'm going to file a mandamus action insisting that he be removed the next day if he hasn't resigned by noon. And I post the mandamus action on my blog. You can see this. It's on, the election was November 7th, so it was on November 9th or 10th that I posted it. Now, on mandamus actions, you have to have a thing called standing. And unfortunately, since I hadn't run for school board or, you know, some sort of arcane combination of things, I technically, by the courts, would not have had standing. Though by filing pro se, things might have been given, I might have been given a little leeway. But no, Bagirov resigned at 11:30 that day, a half hour before, and we haven't seen hide nor hair of him yet. So the issue of residency is only real if you really push it. I'm trying to push it right here because Ron Budzik, Tom Lastly, Deb Feldman, Brian Bucklew, these people don't live inside Dayton, and they're making decisions and giving advice about what buildings we should close. That's a problem, people. You should be incensed. So, again, without pushing the courts, without pushing the issues, this is what happens. People go off and think they know better and that they can get away with this. I'm following a school district bus right now down Hoover, or down James H. McGee to 3rd Street. We're going to cut over to Wagaman, and they're going to apparently sit in the bus and not go inside the building, where they discuss the future of this brand new building and whether that we're still paying taxes on, and whether we should empty it out for 2 years so we can fill other buildings. And after 2 years, we have to give that building up. We have to give it up for pennies on the dollar. We don't even get to get full price.
We have to give it up to a charter school, a public institution, whatever. Whoever wants it can basically get it for next to nothing. And we're not done paying those taxes. And we won't be for another, I think, 3 or 4 years on that building. And we're going to give it away. And remember, Budzik sits on the Mount Street Academies. He sits at Sinclair. Sinclair might want to open a branch campus in it and get it for pennies on the dollar. Or let's see, how about Learn to Earn? Maybe they'll start a preschool in one of these buildings. And, it doesn't have to be a 5-star preschool with certified teachers like Dayton Public Schools has. They'll do some sort of preschool in it, and it'll be privately owned. And Tom Lashley will be handing out the tax dollars from his school board that doesn't have to get elected or watched over by anybody, who get public tax dollars, a lot of public tax dollars. They couldn't even get enough students in their program. They've cut rates. They've done all kinds of stupid stuff because they're doing something that Dayton Public Schools should have been getting the money to do, which is educate our kids. The problem is the people we've elected to our school board violate the law, don't pay attention to what the rules are. They do as they please, when they please, what they please, no matter whether it's legal or not. And you have to hold them accountable. There's 4 other members of this school board sitting at home watching this, or saying, oh, that's just David again. So, Sheila Taylor, well, no, she's at work for the county clerk and the head of the Democratic Party, so they got her under control. There's Karen Wick, who has a real business called Coco's that she's probably taking care of. There's John McManus, who is an attorney and works nights, but tonight is his day off because he has to be at the school board meeting where he has to be taught parliamentary procedure. He doesn't need to know it. He actually knows it. That's why he should have been the board president. It's the rest of these fools that don't know it. And I'll be there later today to film that as well. But John McManus, and then you got newcomer Jocelyn Reinhardt. And Jocelyn, she's got a mind of her own. She should be researching the sunshine laws and know that these people sitting in a bus having a discussion without having it being recorded, without having minutes filed, without having a public agenda published in advance, and having, this be open to the press other than Channel 7 and Cox News, is illegal. You've got 3 board members doing illegal things that you're going to get fined for, and you haven't done anything to stop this. So Jocelyn, if you're watching, Karen, if you're watching, John McManus, if you're watching, Sheila Taylor, if you're watching, get back to work, because you're on the public dime. But this is illegal, and right now we're headed up Gettysburg. We're going past Chris Shaw's Cleaners right now, and we're a couple blocks away from Wagaman. By the way, Wagaman has 2 basketball nets back-to-back in the middle of a circle with drains right below them, and they're 9-foot baskets. So the big kids come in, they hang on the rims, and they trash the nets. And I swear, I have to go out there every 3 to 4 weeks in the summer and put up new nets, because nobody should have a 9-foot basketball rim. And they shouldn't have it in the middle of the roundabout. They should have a proper court, but we were too cheap because we had to pay for a roof that didn't work. Anyway, so we're getting close to Wagaman. Hopefully my battery's recharged a bit in the car and I can broadcast live again. But I hope you've enjoyed my little talk as I drive and understand the issues better, and we'll take the time to call your school board members and call the board and say, why are you continuing this tour even though you know you're going to be doing court tomorrow? Why did you keep doing this? Why are you not complying with the law? Why are you so stupid that you can't read the laws and understand them? Anyway, signing off for now. I'll be right back if I've got enough battery, but I want to make sure I don't lose this one like I might have lost the last video. Thank you all. I really appreciate it. Here they are having their secret meeting in the bus at Wagaman. There it is. Look at that beautiful new roof we just put on it. And as you can see, they're not getting off the bus. There's Channel 7 getting the video. There's the crappy basketball nets. Notice the nets are green and hanging there off the rim. But they're here and they're discussing things, and I'm not allowed in the bus, but you got the superintendent, you got all these private people who don't live in the city of Dayton. You got security. You got Marsha Bonhart outside in her trail vehicle. and they're having an illegal secret meeting. This is what it looks like, folks. Illegal secret meetings in Dayton by your school board. Reverend Walker, Reverend Harris. You just elected Reverend Harris, and they made him president, and he doesn't know what the sunshine laws are. There's head of security, DPS security, Mr. Wright. And apparently Jeremy Kelly is on there because some media is better than other media. You know you got a problem when you're hand-selecting media. And that's all I have to say. I'm not going to keep running this because I'm going to run out of camera. But be aware, a secret meeting doesn't have to be in a meeting room. It can be in a school bus. It can be round robining by having one person call all the members of a board and have a discussion about a subject outside of the meeting. So, they're getting ready to crank that bus up and leave. We'll say sayonara for now, and I will see them in court tomorrow where they will get their hands spanked. There goes the bus. Bye! Bye! Bunch of illegal people doing illegal things in a school bus. So, the stop at Wagaman was real short. I guess they're heading back to the district. Channel 7 reporter Chuck Hamlin said that they will be having interviews possibly there at the building. So I'm going to go down there, and of course I'm going to take my camera and see if they say that I can't record that as well at school HQ. But my guess is they're going to all run away hiding their heads in shame and go back to their suburban offices and wherever else and say, I can't believe I signed up for this. And why are they so stupid? But who knows? I was just told I was yelling. I am not used to using a cell phone and doing Facebook Live. I was outside, so yelling is, not an issue. And I think the reporters that Channel 7 was running cameras, they were picking some of that up as well. But I have a tendency to project my voice when speaking in public. It's not meant to be rude or anything else, and no kids were interrupted by it. And the people on the bus, I also wanted the people on the bus to make sure that I was mentioning the fact that they were having their secret discussions in the school bus. So one other thing about the sunshine laws, just remember this. They can't poll. You can't have a quorum meet. So if you've got a county commission of 3, 2 of them can't meet any time in private. And it happens all the time in Dayton, Ohio, where you have Commissioner Lieberman and Commissioner Dodge out together. I've always questioned, that those meetings are illegal. They might be friends and they might not, quote, be talking about stuff or meeting for that purpose, but when people come up to them and talk about county business and the 2 of them are together, that constitutes an illegal meeting. This county is rife with this. So the school board has 7 members, which means anything more than 3 is considered a quorum. That's why there are only 3 people from the school board on this, and they picked all 3 people of, quote, color: Muhammad, Reverend Walker, and Reverend Harris. So, the schools that they have released that are least full, that they could possibly close, are all on the west side. There were no east side schools that aren't closer to capacity. So it became quickly a race thing. Now, Dayton Business Journal said 9 schools, and people picked up on that. 9 schools are on the list, but if you close 9 schools, this district would be packed up. They can close 3, and that should shift enough students around to fill the rest. Now, of course, the other option is you could actually run the schools well and have people sign up and have their kids come to DPS. And with the closing of ECOT, that means there are a whole bunch of people looking for schools. Now, last year they had started an initiative under Dr. Winston to start an online academy to compete with ECOT, and it got shut down almost instantly. Again, bad board direction, bad leadership. Libby Lawley doesn't like e-learning at all, so that's gone. And here are all these kids looking for a place to go. Now, don't you think they should be spending the time, instead of focusing on closing schools, how to recruit people and how to get them to the schools and how to build confidence in the community? No, they're not doing that. They are just going straight at it. We got to close 3 buildings. We might have to close more. Might even sell off our headquarters, which they should never have bought in the first place. Joe Lacey was entirely right about that. That building was a fantastical boondoggle, and the fact that they still have it is ridiculous. Now they're closing down Dayton Biz Tech. There's 150 students right there. They could bring them back into the district, but nah, you know, they don't want kids that are trouble. There's a school on the west side that's a charter that is an absolute disaster right now with about 150 students, and they're all students that Dayton turned their nose up, who are there trying to get GEDs, complete their education, but came out of the courts or drug addiction programs. Dayton, you know, they shut down Longfellow. They moved it over off of Abney to the, I can never remember the name of the school there, if somebody could help me out. But they moved it over there, and then they talk about the incredible cost per student at that building and included it in their charts, which they presented without explaining to these people on the board that the reason the costs in that school were so phenomenally high was they had like 20 students, 4 teachers, and still have to pay for the building. Because basically we don't run our schools competently. That's the problem. You'd have plenty of students for these buildings. In fact, Lori Ward and I the former superintendent, and I were having conversations about 6 years ago that she was out of room. She didn't know where she was going to put all the students. That's how bad this district has dropped since the reign of Adil Bagirov and the 4 people that got elected without opposition. That's how bad everybody given up on the district. And we seem to be heading to District HQ. I'm right in front of, I'm on West 5th Street, just past Sinclair's parking garages. And it looks like they're going to be pulling into the back lot here. They're pulling around the front door. I'm going to go to the back lot entrance and go in and park and grab my video camera. I think we'll see what happens here, but they'll probably, again, give me crap. So, ending this as I go to park. I'm in the parking lot of DPS. The bus is pulling up on 4th Street. I can see Sheila Taylor's car parked in her board spot while she goes to work for the clerk of courts. It's nice for the schools to provide her parking. I should park in one of the board member spots, but no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not that rude. Anyways, thanks for watching, and we'll see what happens next. Thanks.
We're at Dayton Public Schools HQ. The school bus carrying the task force just turned onto Ludlow. I'm walking around. Here come the news vans following the bus. And they said they were supposed to be able to get interviews of people from the task force on what they saw. So there is the bus, and it looks like they're not coming into the meeting room. It looks like they're going out to the main entrance here. I'm not quite sure what's going on, and I don't know if I'm going to be allowed. There's Marsha Bonhart. So we'll make sure we get video of everybody coming off this bus with their super secret meeting here. Obviously, they're still talking and having a discussion. Oh, they closed the doors as I came up with the camera. You know, in Salina, Ohio, when my dad was a reporter in the early 60s and the Sunshine Laws first came out, when they were having a city commission meeting in the middle of winter, they'd not only leave the doors to the meeting room open, but they would leave the doors to actual city hall open, even to the cold, to make sure nobody thought that the meeting was being held in private. And here you have the doors closed. You have a meeting in private in a school bus in front of Dayton Public Schools HQ. Clear violation of the Sunshine Laws, clear violation of the public trust, and we'll see who gets off the bus. You got Channel 7 here, you got Channel 4522 here, you got security here, you got their PR chief here, and they closed the doors. So closed door, secret meeting happening right now in front of Dayton Public Schools headquarters. And this video will be posted to YouTube. So as I walked up to the bus out front with my camera and started walking up, they closed the doors to the school bus. That is a closed door private meeting of the school task force again. So I guess since every time they open the door and close the door, that's another new meeting. So they've had at least 3 or 4 violations so far. They're right in front of the headquarters. News media is here. Some of them are on the bus. But that's closed door meeting. I don't know how else you could describe it. I'm reporting live on Facebook, by the way. And here come the members of this super secret task force who had their secret meeting on the bus. Again, we'll be in court tomorrow to decide this. We got Sheila Burton coming off. She works for the school district associate superintendent. There's the superintendent who apparently doesn't know the law. There's Hewitt Abraha, the treasurer, doesn't know the law. Here's David Romick, president of the teachers union, who I thought knew the law. Here's Commissioner Mims, who definitely knows the law. They're all going inside. I don't know where they're going to do, if they're going to have meetings. John Gower with the hood on. There's Tim Cambridge from Dayton Public Libraries. Mr. Budzik from the Dayton Business Committee. Tom Lastly. I think his name is Ryan from RTA. Richard Stock from UD. There's Brian Buckley from the Greater Dayton Area Hospital Association. There's Reverend Harris. There's Jeremy Kelly from Dayton Daily News. Pastor whose name I don't know. Reverend Walker from the Dayton School Board, another reporter. I'm not sure, but she's pregnant, so there's 2. She counts for 2. Another news person. And there goes the bus. Muhammad Al-Hamdani was not amongst them. But boy, that was a nice group. Now, am I going to be allowed in with the camera? Uh-oh. Sheila Burton forgot something.
Hey, Chuck.
Some of those people left to walk through the building. Now they're going to call those to the news media. And, I really don't care what they have to say. If they had something to say, they should have said it in public. Some of them are heading out the back door. I am done. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
The plot thickens as I was pulling out of the parking lot of Dayton Public Schools. Ends pulling Muhammad Al-Hamdani. Excuse me. Here we go. Let me switch the camera around. The plot just thickened as I was pulling out of the parking lot of Dayton Public Schools headquarters. In pulls in a blue Honda Muhammad Al-Hamdani, co-chair of the task force. Apparently he didn't go on the tour. So he's on the phone as he gets out. I pull back, do a U-turn on 5th Street, pull back in, and I started asking him if he was there for a meeting. And as he got off the phone, he says, "No, I'm just coming in for a meeting with our attorney." So I don't know why the attorney is meeting individually with board members. That should not be happening. The attorney, if they want to have a meeting with the attorney, it should be a public meeting of all the board members in executive session. You're not allowed to round robin your board members to talk about legal matters. And in fact, one board member cannot meet with an attorney and do the work, anybody but the superintendent. They can't do this. You're supposed to meet en masse. You can't one person represent all of them. So we have another problem, and I'm going to call the board attorney and let her know she's violating the law again. If they want to have a meeting, they need to call a meeting, have it executive session. They've got a meeting tonight. Have executive session and discuss the legal issue at hand. But actually polling them or meeting directly one-on-one, that is not a board member's role or responsibility unless it's been voted on by the full board. So here you go. Again, this school board does not know the law. Their attorney does not know the law. And
they're going and doing things that are illegal. I am absolutely appalled at this. I should be at work. I've been covering this thing all morning, but let's see what's going to go on. I'm going to call the attorney right now. You'll all hear it on record. I'm going to advise her she has no right to meet with a board member individually, and this should stop. Thank you.